This DVD will assist farmers to induct family members, staff and contractors to competently operate agricultural tractors. The Victorian Farm Safety Centre can provide farmers with OH&S guides, workshops, audits and training courses. Watch this DVD in conjunction with the Manufacturer's Manual and the WorkSafe Victoria Handbook. Safe use of tractors with attachments. Under the Victorian Occupational Health and Safety Act 2004, farmers have a legal responsibility for ensuring the farm workplace is safe. Anyone who designs, alters, modifies or supplies machinery is responsible for the equipment being safe and must provide information regarding the condition of machine. The Primary Industries Training Centre offers a wide range of training courses to the agricultural sector. Approximately 20 tractor-associated fatalities occur annually and many more are permanently disabled. Today's attitudes can impact upon generations of risk-taking.
When you take your new tractor home, if you do decide to put a front-end loader on it, it's very important to make sure you've got the correct ballast.
Easy access to the air cleaner, radiator, intercoolers, oil coolers. You also have easy access to the front axle grease pivots.
Bring the tractor out to your farm, install the tractor on your farm and fit it up to the various inputs to make sure it complies to what your intentions are to do with the tractor.
Fairly important to match the tractor with the right front-end loader to get the correct counterbalance at the back, just for safety features.
When selling agricultural machinery, refer to Sell Safe. When inducting family, staff and contractors, check the person's understanding and keep the record on file. Make sure people understand the warning decals. The gradual introduction of rollover protective structures, ROPS, throughout Australia has helped to reduce the number of farmer rollover fatalities. Drilling or welding, a ROPS will devoid warranty. Hierarchy of control is the method used to control hazards. The hazard is a falling bale of hay. The steps are: eliminate. Use a rear grab attachment so there is no need to lift. Substitute. Use a grab attachment on a front-end loader. Isolate. A 4-post ROPS will protect the operator. Engineer. Use a higher back on the hay bale forks and level lift mechanism. Administer. Authorised users only that know the bale needs to be speared with forks. PPE. Personal protective equipment. Wear personal protective clothing and seat belts. Only authorised, trained and informed people should operate compliant equipment.
When performing a pre-operation check on a tractor, the first thing we check is the engine oil level. Checking the air cleaner for any serious build-up of dust. In the radiator, you get a build-up of grass and dust in behind the condensers and into the radiator core, and you need to clean out this area and blow it out with an air hose. Coming around and checking the fan belt, checking that the guards are in place around the fan belt. Engine coolant level, and when it's hot it expands and that level can be different. Terminals to make sure that they're free of corrosion. Then just a general walk around looking for leaks. The hydraulic lines, the fuel lines to make sure that there are no fuel leaks and no spillages underneath the tractor. checking your windows to make sure they're all nice and clean, your lights and your indicators, make sure there's no damage to the lenses, they're not broken, checking your mirrors, just a general look over the cabin to make sure it's in good condition. Tread on the tyres for any serious damage to the treads. You're checking for any abnormal bulges in the walls of the tyres, checking for splits, and then checking the wheel nuts, make sure that the wheel nuts are tight. And then around the rim to make sure that there's no serious damage around the rim of the tyre. Transmission oil level, making sure your master shield is down and in place, and just a general look over the rear of the tractor to see that there's nothing hanging off the machine. Make sure all of your locating pins are in place. Enter the cabin using 3 points of contact. Position yourself in the seat so that it's nice and comfortable. It's far enough forward. Have a general look around the controls to make sure that everything is familiar. Make sure that the gear stick is in neutral, the shuttle shift is in neutral, the handbrake is on. Check that the PTO is disengaged. Make sure that nothing is out of place. Ensure that the independent brakes are locked together. Checking your lights to make sure all of your working lights are operating. Rotating safety beacon, checking your indicators forward and back, and then attach the seat belt. Ready to start the tractor, let it go through its engine management system. Once all the lights are out, start the tractor, check your gauges, make sure everything's operating okay. Check your steering, just do a small check of your handbrake, put the tractor in forward gear, make sure that the handbrake is operating okay. You can hear it, the engine labouring, so you know that the brakes are engaging. Disengage the handbrake, check the foot brakes, make sure that they're working okay. When alighting from the tractor, always use 3 points of contact and come out of the tractor backwards.
This tractor is a Case Steiger quad track, 375 horsepower. We've had it for about 5 years now. It's done 4,000 hours and still in pretty good repair. We're hoping to get around 15,000 hours out of the machine. As a pre-operational check here, the main thing we're going to look at is the engine oil, which is here. On this tractor in particular, the coolant level is actually best checked hot. So we like to actually check it about half an hour after running. Do a good visual check of the tracks, so the main traction wheel here, make sure it's all free of mud. Have a check of all these idler pulleys, make sure that they're all in line, make sure that in that way you get a bit of an indication as far as whether there's a bearing gone or not. Well, here we've got the hydraulic oil level, so as long as it's along the low line, it's fine. Once you start running for half an hour, it'll come up that extra couple of inches. Then we come into the transmission oil. There's a sight glass in there. You check it when it's cold, because if you actually check it when it's running, because it's a forced oil system, it'll always show low. So that one there you check before you start up. An articulated tractor, they've always got grease points on the articulation point. So here on your main articulation point, and then also on your rams. On this tractor here, it's a 20-hour grease, so it's only every couple of days.
PTO, or power takeoff, must be disengaged and guarded when not in use. Inspection of hoses and fittings should not occur while the system is pressurised or under raised equipment unless mechanically supported. Programmable controls will require additional induction and information from manual. Keep pedestrians separated from vehicle traffic and children within designated safety zones. Remove jewellery, dangling cords, loose clothing and tie long hair back. In an emergency, use 000 or 112 with mobiles.
During a declared fire period, it is compulsory for tractors to have a fire extinguisher with a minimum capacity of 9 litres of water.
Everyone's clear. 3 toots of the horn.
Most runovers are as a result of carelessness. Never get on or off a moving tractor. Ensure the handbrake is always applied, park mode engaged, and never start a tractor from the ground. Do not carry passengers. There should always be a Vic Roads heavy vehicle bulletin in the cabin.
Morning.
How are we?
Good, thank you.
Your tractor?
Yes.
You have with you today your Vic Roads
Yeah,
bulletin
I do.
for operation.
Yeah.
Covers all agricultural oversized vehicles.
Yes.
There's certain things in there that you need to comply with, and certainly the pilot vehicle one is. Approaching traffic is less than 500 metres. You don't need a pilot, but over 3.7 you do need one. So you refer to the permit whenever you have any queries.
Scanning is the ability to consciously and routinely check both their driving and the task.
When driving tractors on sloping ground, you must be very mindful of the fact of the centre of gravity. Standard centre of gravity of a normal tractor is approximately 250 mil above the centre line of the back axle and 600 millimetres forward of the axle. So it generally sits in somewhere around this region here if we were to draw a line right through the tractor. We have our triangle of stability. Once we put the tractor on a slope, then this centre of gravity is now moved over here, so it's closer to the edge of the centre of gravity. And if that line was allowed to continue and it acted outside of the outside rim of the rear wheel, then the tractor would turn over. Things that influence that centre of gravity shifting within that stability triangle are that if we were driving on a piece of sloping ground and we hit a pothole on the bottom side of the tractor, or we hit a stump on the top side of the tractor, then that momentum with the tractor would be enough for that tractor to tip over. Rigid tractors have no suspension, so they have a rigid axle system and it doesn't allow for any cushioning effect. So you always have to be mindful of where that centre of gravity sits within that triangle. Some tractors have the ability to be able to widen the wheelbase. They have extended axles so that you can extend this wheel out to the edge of the axle, therefore increasing the stability of the tractor. Before moving off the tractor, always make sure that there are no pedestrians in sight. You're well clear of where you're going to be driving away, and then just put the tractor in gear, selecting it whatever range you require. This is low range, high range. So we select low range, we're in 5th gear, then you have a high range and then a low range on the selector arm. You have a doubling up of that system here. Some tractors are fitted with both a hand throttle and a foot throttle, both of which override each other, but not all tractors have a foot throttle. Some only have a hand throttle. Make sure the handbrake is off. So if we take off, let the clutch out, familiarise yourself with the tractor, get used to looking around so that you can see your surrounds nice and clear. Get used to moving the tractor through the gears, progressing up to 6th gear, and then 7th gear, and then to 8th gear. Once we reach 8th gear, we need to change up to a higher ratio, so we go from low range to high range. It then selects the 9th gear, and then we take off in 9th gear, and then we can progress through those gears. Get used to selecting an appropriate gear for the task at hand. Get used to reversing, looking over the back so that you can see the drawbar, you can see the link ends, so that you're able to back into the implement, making sure at all times that there are no pedestrians behind you. If you've got somebody assisting you in hitching up a piece of equipment, make sure they're standing well clear